I'm sure you've asked yourself at some point, how many layers should I have in my Photoshop painting? Well, this is actually an incredibly old question, because there was a time long before Photoshop where artists had very expensive pigment. In fact, it was so expensive they had to invent a way to make sure they didn't waste it. They wanted to avoid mistakes. So what they created was called indirect painting, in which you'd come to your colors slowly through layering. So I want to give you a quick overview of the two primary types of painting, so you can consider them when you're making your choice about how many layers to have in your Photoshop document. So I should start off by asking you, can you see a difference between these two colors? No matter how hard you look, you won't be able to, because on a computer screen, they're exactly the same. In fact, they have what's called a hex value, which is a very specific way of telling the computer exactly what color it is. What you don't know is the process through which I found these two colors. On the left, you see indirect painting. This is where I layered a couple different multiply layers over top of a gray stroke, and what I ended up with was that color, 5E679B. On the right, I opened up my color picker, carefully selected it manually, and then laid down on a single stroke. And what you're seeing here are the two primary types of painting: indirect on the left and direct on the right. If you're using direct painting, odds are your layer stack could be very short. You could do 2 or 3 layers for the entire painting. On the other hand, if you were using indirect painting, you would probably have more layers, which could slow down your computer. So each has their own benefits, and they also have their own downfalls. It's generally harder to do direct painting because you don't have the benefit of finding your values and finding your colors through layering. You just have to pick a color and go with it. But if you can do that, it ends up being a more lightweight, quick workflow. Because unlike those painters from hundreds of years ago, you don't have to worry about certain pigments costing more than other pigments. You can use any color you want. But indirect painting has a great way of avoiding risk. If you start with an underpainting and then build up on top of it, you know at every stage of the game that it's working for you. I like to recommend indirect painting to beginners because it's a great way to build up a drawing slowly, also knowing that it will have a few more layers in the long run. But that's okay because you can flatten them down as you go. But if you're really feeling bold and have good observational skills, try some direct painting where you pick the colors on your color picker and apply them directly to the canvas. So hopefully this will help you decide how many layers to paint with as you're painting and know a little bit about the history of it all. Thanks for watching.